I'm setting out to prove that there's a consciousness, an intelligence that's interacting with us through synchronicity. In my premiere video, we talked about the synchronicities that started all of this. The Yahtzee was a synchronicity, but I guess the odds weren't quite enough to fully convince me. But the Chomsky synchronicity, now that was a little different. Its theme of interdimensional communication made me sure that there was something going on that involved some higher power. And then came the cascade of synchronicities that followed Chomsky, which we're going to talk about today. First, it was the Pleiadian synchronicities. Everywhere I looked, I saw the Pleiades. Now, I've always loved finding them in the night sky, but never before had I been inundated with everything Pleiades. Then one day I walked into a friend of a friend's house and I heard some knockout music. I mean, I couldn't believe the music I was hearing. I said, I need a copy of this. What is it? And the guy says, Pleiadian communication. I kid you not. I did get a copy. I listened to it over and over and over again over several days and all times of day and in the car while driving miles and miles and so on. And I really just felt there was some kind of trancy thing going on, which I was, of course, totally digging. And this led directly to the miracle that started the Inman crop circle synchronicities. And that happened on Friday night, the 16th of June, 1995. So someone was showing me pictures of recent crop circles in England. Now, these weren't the basic designs I'd heard about recently, the ones that I was going to write to Noam Chomsky about, for instance, but I thought they might be hoaxes. So I had a private thought, and that was, show me one of these in Kansas, and then I'll believe. Sound familiar? Kind of like my Yahtzee question. Anyways, now, although I was unaware of it for several days, that night a formation did appear near a small town called Inman. And I happened to be at my mom's house in Plevna. I wouldn't normally be there on a Thursday morning. In fact, I lived over 100 miles away. But I happened to be there that morning in Plevna when I read about it in the newspaper. It was on the front page, in fact. I was really, really overjoyed. And I managed to contact the farmer and get permission to go in. So think about it. 6 days after I wished for a crop circle, here I was walking into one. I spoke with the farmer that watched a row of lights hovering over the same spot the Friday night before. That's the same night that I'd wished for a crop circle. And it occurred to me that the shape of the formation even echoed the shape of the vehicle on which the farmer rode. Now, he had seen a row of lights. The row of lights had seen a tractor. Well, I've since learned that the word tractor comes from Latin, trahere. To pull is what that means. So quite apropos, considering that our consciousness reaches out to an other intelligence through the transceiver of consciousness that is inside of us all, in man. It would be a year before I even thought to put the 3 points on a map. Topeka, where I was when I wished for it, Inman, where the crop circle appeared that night, and Plevna, where I read about it in the newspaper 6 days later. They fall on a straight line. Stop to think about this because it's important. That final point was predictive in nature. Who knew where I'd be when I heard about the crop circle? Well, obviously the other intelligence, G in brackets that is, by putting the crop circle on a beeline pointing that out. That it knew where I'd be when I heard about the crop circle. All of these come together on a straight line, not just any straight line, but the tip line, Topeka, Inman, Plevna. You won't believe how that comes out in future synchronicities. But so that we don't get lost in these synchronicities, let's visually review the keys of the dialogue that arrived with each of them. The Chomsky synchronicity showed us that synchronicity is communication and that communication happens during an encounter with an other intelligence, which I've suggested we call G in brackets, and crop circles are part of the language used. The Pleiadian synchronicities, of course, brought the Pleiades into the dialogue, and additional synchronicities we haven't covered yet will definitely expound upon the importance of the Pleiades. And finally, with the Inman crop circle synchronicities, we can see how something within us, in humans that is, pulls the experience to us. And that's the transceiver of consciousness, sending and receiving in return. And with the circle's particular placement on the tip line and the timing of it appearing when I wished for it, we also get undeniable confirmation of the apparent omniscience of this other intelligence, or G in brackets, communicating from beyond our perceived limitations of space and time. Next time, I'll share a mind-blowing series of synchronicities which visually illustrates our dimensional relationship with G in brackets.